Hello students, our today's topic of discussion is differentiation or derivative. So first we study in this lecture what is that concept of derivative. We have many times a question in mind that what is dy by dx. So dy by dx, to study this geometrically, we take one function here, y as a function of x, where this y we call it as a dependent variable and x we call it as a independent variable. Why this x and y are dependent variables? Because when we define any function y as a function of x, here the values of y depend upon values of x. X can take any value and on that value y depends. Hence y we call it as a dependent variable and x is we call it as a independent. So when we take such a function, their derivatives are defined or denoted by like this, dy by dx, where d represents simply a change. The letter d we call it as it represents the change. That means here the rate of change of one variable with respect to another variable is nothing but dy by dx. That is, change in y with respect to change in x gives the dy by dx, and we call it as a derivative. Sometimes this definition also written like this: the rate of change of dependent variable with respect to independent variable. Here, as we know, y as a dependent, x as a independent. Okay, so after this we move towards the concept. What is that concept of dy by dx? So for that I have taken one curve here, y is equal to f of x. It is a two-dimensional curve. X axis and y axis are shown here. On this curve I have taken 2 points A and B. At the point A, we write its coordinates as x f of x, because this distance shows x and this whole vertical distance which changes along y, it is denoted by f of x. Because if we put x in this function, x in the value of this y is equal to f of x, we get y as a f of x, which is the y coordinate of this point A, that is x f x. Similarly, here again what that delta x represents here, many times the change in y and x are denoted by the symbols delta x, that is change in x, delta y represents the change in y. Not only by using delta d, we also use the symbol delta here to represent change. That is small increment, this delta x gives or read like this: small increment in x or small change in x. Similarly, delta y we write or we read it as a small increment in y or small change in y. So like that I have taken a small change in that value of x as a delta x, and change in y we represent by using delta y. So in this diagram, coordinates of B point are represented like this. From this B I have drawn a perpendicular, so this whole distance becomes x plus delta x, and this vertical distance becomes the f of x plus delta x. As this point B lies on this curve, y is equal to f of x. If you put x plus delta x in this curve, we get y coordinate of this point B as a f of x plus delta x. So these are the coordinates. Again I have drawn line through this A point, A and B points, and we are going to find the slope of this line AB. So as we know that by coordinate geometry, suppose this line AB makes positive angle theta measured anti-clockwise, and as this is our delta x, this is delta y. That is small change in the value of y which changes along y axis, it is delta y. Change in x axis, we represent like this delta x. Value of x changes in terms of delta x. So the slope of line AB we find in this way. From the coordinate geometry, the slope is given by the formula tan of theta. That's why I have considered here the angle theta. Now slope of line AB is nothing but tan of this theta. Theta is the angle made up with the positive direction of x-axis in anti-clockwise direction. So tan of theta, if we draw the same diagram here, this is change in x, this is change in y, and I have made this angle theta. So in this right angle triangle, tan of this theta, it is delta y by delta x. That is, again we go to the right of this A on this curve. That means it goes on decreasing the distances delta x and delta y. We get these small triangles like this. That means this is the original delta x. If I draw triangle to here, so in that case our curve is like this. This is our line AB. This is your delta x, this is delta y, this is again angle theta. In that case also the slope of line AB is delta y by delta x. Again we move to the right of A towards B. In that case we get the line AB like this. This is delta x, this is delta y, this is our angle theta. The slope of line AB is same, given by this formula delta y by delta x. That means what we are doing here, the delta x and delta y, the changes we are tending or we are decreasing, and they are changing if delta x and delta, if they are going to decreasing. In the limiting case, if the both this delta x and delta y goes on decreasing, delta x and delta y tends to 0. We decrease it near about 0. So in that case, again the slope of line given by the same formula delta y by delta x, and we come across like this. If we observe the diagram, we go like this, and at the limiting case this line AB overlaps with this line we denote by CD. Okay, so as delta x and delta y, this distances goes on decreasing, this line AB becomes the line CD. Means slope of line AB is equal to slope of CD. They are going to overlap with each other and their slopes becomes equal at this limiting case. So as from this diagram, if we see or if we observe, at this point B, line CD is the tangent line to this curve. That means if delta x tends to 0 and delta y tends to 0, the AB line becomes the tangent line to this curve. And how we can represent this mathematically? As slope of line AB is, at the limiting case, delta x tends to 0, delta y tends to 0, the slope becomes delta y by delta x, and they are the slopes of AB as well as the slope of CD. They are given by this formula. Here not necessary to write delta y tends to 0. Why? As y we have taken function of x. If that change in x tends to 0, change in y, delta y also tends to 0, because y depend on x. If that change in x tends to 0, delta y also tends to 0. So here we get this, and this formula denotes the slope of both the lines AB as well as CD. Okay, that means this is nothing but our derivative. What that delta is the change in that y with respect to change in x, and this is nothing but the derivative or the definition of derivative. And in that curve, as delta x tends to 0, this line AB overlaps with this line CD and it becomes a tangent line to the curve at this particular point B. Okay, so after this, derivative by first principle. Okay, so here we just put the values of delta y and delta x here, as slope of line AB is nothing but slope of CD, and I am going to tell that the CD is nothing but a tangent line to this curve. So we also represent this nothing but slope of tangent to the curve y is equal to f of x at B, at point B, is nothing but dy by dx. So this whole we denote by using symbol dy by dx. After this, here we put the values of delta y and delta x as delta y, that is change in y. We can find the change in y as at point B minus change in y at point A. So y coordinate of the point B is f of x plus delta x minus fx, that is y coordinate of point A, it is fx. Again we find the delta x as change in x. Change in x means x coordinate of the point B and x coordinate of the point A. That means x coordinate of B minus x coordinate of A. Delta x minus x. So here x gets cancelled out, we get delta x is nothing but the delta x. So if we put in this definition limit delta x tends to 0, delta y by delta x, we go towards the derivative by first principle. So putting the values of delta y and delta x, dy by dx, that is the slope of tangent to the curve, that is limit delta x tends to 0, f of x plus delta x minus fx upon the value of delta x. This is our derivative by first principle. In most of the times this delta x is denoted by using symbol h. In our book, the delta x, the change in x that we have taken, it is represented by small h. So same definition is converted like this: limit h tends to 0, f of x plus h minus fx upon h. So this is the dy by dx, or we also denote this by using symbol f dash of x, that is derivative of a function y is equal to f of x by taking a small change delta x in that value of x, or that change we have represented by using symbol h also, that is limit h tends to 0, that means change in x tending to 0. So this is the ratio, incremental ratio denotes the derivative of this function y is equal to f of x. We also use this symbol for the derivative as a f dash of x because it is a derivative of the function f of x, and dash is used to denote the derivative again, like this dy by dx. Actually, this dy by dx symbol represents the Leibniz notation. We call it as a derivative given by the first principle. Again, if we observe this represents the change in y with respect to change in x. So always remember that this is the definition given by first principle, represents the tangent line to the curve at a particular point. Okay, so after this, from the same derivative by first principle, we define derivative at a point. So for that, I am going to take one point here. Derivative at a point means we have given a question to find derivative at a particular point. That means at a point means at value of x, if x is equal to a, where we have to find the derivative of the function y is equal to f of x. At x is equal to a, if we simply put here in this definition of first principle, x as a limit h tends to 0, f of a plus h minus fa upon h. Here we get the derivative at point a of the given function, like y equal to f of x by first principle. Or again, there is one notation for here, f dash of a, we simply write this as a dy by dx at x is equal to a. We go towards the left hand and right hand derivatives of the function. So for that, or why the left hand and right hand derivative are important? To define derivable function or differentiable function. So the left hand derivative we write as a LHD, left hand derivative of a function. So where their left hand and right hand derivative are needed in terms of piecewise functions, the left hand derivative denoted by L of f dash of a, or simply f dash of a minus. So limit h tends to 0 minus f of a plus h minus f of a upon h. So what that symbol h tends to 0 minus represents here as that change in the value of x. It tends to 0. In limiting case we get the derivative. If that change tends to 0 from left. So this is real line. On that real line I have represented the point 0. In that case, if that change in the value of x tends to 0 from left, the left hand derivative represents. There are two symbols to represent them. Again, RHD, that is right hand derivative. Right hand derivative of a function at a point at x is equal to a. So its symbol is R f dash of a, or simply f dash of a plus limit h tends to 0 plus of f of a plus h minus fa upon h. The incremental ratio is same. This ratio is same over here in both the definitions. Just there is change in 0 plus. What that 0 plus represents? H tends to 0. H goes towards 0 from right. Okay. So if both these definitions or both these derivatives are exist, both left hand derivative and right hand derivative are exist. So what is the meaning of exist? limit of all functions or not exist. We have seen detail in limit or in continuity. So left hand derivative and right hand derivative, if both are equal, their values are equal, then the function we say that it is differentiable. That means if the values of f dash of a minus and f dash of a plus both are equal, then the function is differentiable or derivable. The derivative of the function is exists. And how we can write the value of derivative? That is f dash of that point a, x is equal to a, that is derivative of the function at x is equal to a. It is exactly equal to the left hand derivative and right hand derivative. If both are equal, function is differentiable and its value we write simply as f dash of a, and it becomes exactly equal to both the values. If this condition is not satisfied, that means if left hand derivative and right hand derivative are not equal, we said that the function is not derivable or not differentiable. That means derivative of the function does not exist here. We cannot find derivative of that function if this situation is happen. Okay. So after this, again we see this point in detail, that is differentiability, in the next lecture. That means how we can check the given function is differentiable or not, and what is the relationship between differentiability and continuity of a function. So to see the definition, how to use the definition of first principle to find out derivatives of standard functions. So for that I am going to take one example here. Find dy by dx if y is equal to sin x. So I am going to find derivative of this y is equal to sin x function by using derivative by first principle that we have studied. So as we know the definition of derivative by first principle, it is denoted by dy by dx or f dash x, like limit h tends to 0, f of x plus h minus fx upon h. As y is equal to sin x function, we denote also like this, y equal to fx. So here we find out the value of f of x plus h as fx is equal to sin x, put x is equal to x plus h. So we get the value of f of x plus h as a sine of x plus h. The limit h tends to 0, sine of x plus h minus sin x upon h. Now we require here one formula for sin c minus sin d from factorization. So sin c minus sin d is given like this, 2 times cos c plus d by 2 into sin c minus d by 2. So here c is nothing but your x plus h, d is nothing but x. So using this formula here, limit h tends to 0, 2 times cos, just add c and d angle, this is your c, this is your d, x plus x, it is 2x plus h upon 2 into sine of x plus h minus x, it is h by 2 only. Okay. So again we take the limit here separately of each term, cos of 2x plus h by 2 into limit h tends to 0 of sine of h by 2 upon h, and this 2 I am going to write in denominator. Okay. So if we put h as a 0 here, this 2x upon 2, it becomes x only, and we get only cos x. And if we use the standard formula for limit of that, limit sin x upon x as x tends to 0, it is equal to 1. So for that, as x tends to 0, or for here as h tends to 0, h by 2 also tends to 0. So here value of this limit is 1. So cos x into 1, we get finally f dash x as only cos x, that is derivative of sin x is cos x. We have used definition of first principle here to find out derivative of sin x. So like this, we can find derivatives of remaining standard functions like logarithmic function, exponential function, square root function, again constant function. The same definition is useful to find out derivatives of some standard functions, and the derivatives of some standard functions we see in detail in the next lecture. Okay, thank you.